In the past half-decade, the wide receiver position has evolved towards the small, shifty, separating wideout compared to the big, hulking, powerful receiver. The game has shifted more towards the quick-twitch smaller guy who can create more separation, rather than the low-percentage jump ball throw-it-up-there bigger dudes that we used to see dominate every single Sunday. With the exception of Drake London, who just broke out this past season, for the last 5 years we haven't seen a true dynamic massive receiver drafted in the first round, who's had the NFL success to warrant that early first round draft pick. Well, enter Tetairoa McMillan. He's 6'5", weighs anywhere from 212 to 219, depending if you're looking at PFF or mock draftable, a massive body compared to almost anybody else in the league. His height is 94th percentile at the position, but he's much more than a massive big body. He is much different than the old school version. Before we dive deeper into exactly what that means, I want to thank this week's sponsor, Rocket Money. Rocket Money is the personal finance app that helps with so many things. It helps you cancel extra subscriptions, lower bills, overall manage your money better. You can build a customized budget plan, grow your savings, everything you need, it's all right here. And that's not even it. My favorite part is that you can upload your bills and Rocket Money will negotiate them for you. They will analyze your spending habits to create a custom budget that works with your lifestyle. Rocket Money even monitors your spending by category. Honestly, before Rocket Money, almost every month I'd have something like a Hulu subscription I didn't want, if I paid for an app membership and forgot to cancel. Seeing all the things in general I spend too much money on has helped me cut costs and better manage my money. If you want to start saving more money and canceling subscriptions, better managing your finances, go to rocketmoney.com/AlexRollins or click the link in the description box to get started for free. That's rocketmoney.com/AlexRollins. When we look at why massive receivers were so good and why they've almost completely gone extinct, Dez Bryant is the perfect example of why the big jump ball receivers have gotten phased out. Dez created little separation, but he was so big and such a dynamic jump ball spectacular catch guy that when you look at him and see he's covered, he really wasn't. For this archetype to work, you also needed a quarterback willing to throw those balls to a not technically open receiver. So when Tony Romo got hurt and Dak took over, Dak wasn't willing to throw those balls, the game transitioned to more of a high efficiency style of offense, and Dez's career washed away. Tet is not like Dez. He is a separator. Yes, he's also strong. He's quick, he's got great lateral agility, he's tough, but he also still runs really good routes, whereas Dez was more of an isolated jump ball beat you up kind of receiver. For example, Tet is excellent at changing the pace of his routes, whereas most college receivers are trying to get to their route landmark ASAP, he understands how to set up the cornerback to create as much separation as possible. To show you what I'm talking about, against Jacob Parrish, watch how he runs this 10-yard curl. He doesn't explode off the line as quick as he can. One could say, okay, I have to get Parrish to think I'm running deep, so he'll run deep, then I'll break down. But instead, Tet starts slow off the ball to keep distance between him and Parrish. When Parrish sees him slow off the ball, if he tries to rush up to contact him, then hypothetically Tet could burn him deep on a go, so Parrish has to maintain his distance. Now is when Tet speeds up to get Parrish to go, oh shit, now we're in a foot race and I gotta kick it into gear to keep up. But then boom, Tet chops it down. He's also very good with his hands and throw-bys, and finishes with a nice catch. He has a great understanding of angles and attacking leverage as well. Some receiver prospects just run to the spot they're told, that's that. But when Tet sees DJ McKinney inside leverage and man coverage, once again, he does not explode off the line, he's angling towards McKinney to keep him inside, then starts to explode into McKinney's blind spot to make him think Tet is now attacking deep, then Tet breaks it off, and look at this separation. He's also messing with McKinney's timing too. An average play is the quarterback releasing the ball in around 2.7-ish seconds. So when Tet goes to make his second move, shooting up the sideline like it's a go, the alarm in McKinney's head is going off that they're going deep, and this is just one way Tet creates a ton of separation. He's good at the line too. Another old scouting adage is to find every rep a receiver gets against press coverage in college, because really there are never a ton of NFL reps for receivers in college. The college game is mostly about attacking open space, since there are large open spaces in zone coverage that just aren't there to the same degree in the NFL, and you don't find a lot of college corners who can guard the top dogs one-on-one in man coverage. Plus, when a receiver dominates college and then gets to the big time and gets pressed and suddenly can't beat it, well, now the word's out and he's going to get pressed till the end of his short career. Tet got a surprising amount of press coverage for such a big receiver. I believe it was because Arizona's quarterback wasn't great, so teams tried to force him to make tight throws against man coverage, and Tet knew how to beat it consistently. On this 2-play example, he anticipates straight press coverage right at the line and shows good technique in defeating the risk by chopping down, anticipating the contact before it actually comes. Then a few plays later, we see him use his speed at the line to create space. He's not just all power. And what I really like is his ability to pair his releases with his hand counters, so he has a plan at the line and can fluidly string moves together. He can also use those hand counters later in the down. When he gets off man coverage, but is getting pushed into, he can use his push-by technique while chopping down to create maximum separation. The most underrated part of his game is his ability to execute choice routes at a high level. Arizona loved bumping him inside to the slot. They did so 21.6% of the time, because they knew no matter where the zone coverage was, Tet would always find a way to get open. They kept having him run the stick option route in shock, which has a slot fade and a curl outside. Typically, Tet's running the outbreaking stick route, but if he sees a defender is outside of him and off, he can sit down in zone. Then a few plays later, this is the drive concept, where in man coverage, you're trying to run away from the defenders over the middle, but in zone, you're gonna sit down over the middle where you can find open space. Between Tet's size and his zone coverage ability, he almost reminds me of a QB-friendly tight end security blanket type of weapon, where you know he's gonna be open over the middle no matter the coverage. But obviously, he's predominantly an outside threat, where he had the 4th most deep yards in the nation and the 3rd most contested catches. For example, Arizona is running this 4 verts all go concept, where his route is gonna convert based on the coverage. When he sees Kansas State drop into this too high Tampa 2 zone, he knows the inside vertical is gonna force a safety to split both routes, so watch how wide Tet gets to the sideline instead of just running straight up the field, creates a ton of separation and makes a nice toe tap catch. Or there are concepts like dodge, which is more underneath, where he can either go in or out on the corner, and once again, he is great at creating separation even when he has to think about how he's going to run these choice option routes. Arizona even trusted him to run the blaze out route, the hardest route in the book. It's a post corner route, but way more challenging because it's completely flat at the top to the sideline instead of to the corner. And if you want to see what a top 10 pick looks like running it versus a mere mortal, check out the guy at the bottom of the screen running the same exact thing. Now, of course, Tet is not a perfect prospect. I really like him, but he does have some flaws. He's a really good contested catch guy, but not great at the high point spectacular catch like a Dez Bryant or like a Mike Evans. There were some times, similar to Travis Hunter, where he struggled with his snap down a bit, where at the top of the route he's using too many steps, which can make him delayed to his landmark to catch the ball, also making it harder on his quarterback. My last problem with him is what I'm most worried about. When he's not really a part of the play, he can get really lazy and kinda careless, and he's not really running his routes. There was a clip online of him from back in his freshman year where he said he doesn't study tape outside of the facility. And paired with some of these not running hard examples, that is what worries me. Everybody in the NFL is an incredible athlete. It's really the guys who eat, sleep, and breathe football that become great. And I really do love Tet's film and game, so I hope he is that kind of dude. He's a big body who can still separate, unlike some of the bigger bodies in the past, and I believe he is worthy of an early first-round draft pick. He can play the typical on-the-ball X receiver where he's using his power, beating press, multiple releases off the ball, mixing speed and strength. But then he's also a great separator where he can change the tempo and pacing of his routes, is awesome at sitting down in zone coverage, mentally processing where to convert his route to create maximum distance between himself and the defender. You can bump him into the slot too, Tet's game is multifaceted. He's far from a one-trick pony. He can be a dominant 2 for a team like the Cowboys, or even, I believe, a dominant 1. If you draft Tetairoa McMillan, he'll use his massive body to help you score a ton of points.